Guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to Breakthrough with Lew. It is our special Memorial Day show. And today we honor those who gave their lives, their entire being, to protecting our lives and our freedoms. I don't take that lightly, and I don't think that any of us should take lightly what our servicemen and women have provided for us in the past and will continue to provide for us in the future. And that is freedom. Why choose freedom, you might say? It might be easier to, go the other direction and, have all this health care and that and all these things and housing provided by the government. And you just go in and you work 30, 40 hours a week for a government company and it's all easy. Nah, I don't think so. I think if you really look at it, the freedom's your answer. And why would that be though? And, everybody has their opinion and their beliefs. So let's delve into freedom this morning. See, greatness, and I'm talking greatness, not average, not below average, not barely getting by. I'm talking greatness, the greats, the Martin Luther Kings, the Abraham Lincolns, the Ben Franklins, the people that really brought things to us and that we actually take for granted today. Greatness comes from being able to speak freely. Can you imagine, just for a moment, using the word imagine, Martin Luther King not being allowed to talk about anything and, you can't get up in public and speak about that. You can't do this. Can you imagine how much less he would have gotten accomplished? What about somebody like Tony Robbins? Well, you can get up in front of a crowd, but you can't swear. You can't say this. You can't say something that'll really stimulate somebody to take action. No, you gotta say it this way. This is the script that you get to speak. No, free speech is important, and that's for everybody. Whether I agree with you or you agree with me or not, it's for everybody. And there are times where I go, oh, I don't want to hear that. But you know what? I still support that person's right to be able to speak and have their free speech and their free beliefs, whether I agree or not, right? How about making decisions for yourself? And we went through that whole COVID thing. Some people made decisions to get vaccinated, some didn't. Some stand by their choice to get vaccinated, and others wish they hadn't. Some said, I wasn't going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I didn't do it, and they're glad they didn't. And some people think maybe that they should have. I don't know what the right answer would have been for you, but my God, I sure will tell you that has to be your decision. Same thing for a career. What if somebody else was in charge? What if your parents decided who you married, what you did for a living, where you lived, and that was gospel? What worse yet if your government decided that? There are third world countries, and usually those are the ones that have the most control over their people, that is the way it is. This is who you will marry. This is where you will live. This is your job. You do not speak out. Freedom is important, guys. Freedom is important. Yes. Is it right or is it right? Tell me. Good morning, Tommy. Hey, what's up, buddy? The ability to become abundant and share. What about all these people that make a huge difference? And I'm not saying become abundant to just give handouts to everybody and freebies. So somebody once said Grant Cardone should sell his jet and just give that money to the poverty. Well, you know what? That money would dry up and they'd be still in poverty. How about giving your programs. And Grant and a lot of the other guys do a lot of amazing programs to help people rehabilitate themselves or learn or get educated or free themselves from the things that are holding them back. How about looking at that side of it? Something that has lasting changes. You give $1 to a bum on the street, they're going to go save it up enough to get another 50-50 Mad Dog 2020 or another hit of their heroin or whatever. You get somebody into a program to teach them how to live and to have something to go forward with. Now that is contribution. Giving somebody $10 so they can buy their next bottle of wine and puke on the sidewalk and lay there until the police come drag them off is not helping somebody. But if you're not abundant, you can't share. What about people that are building schools in countries that didn't have schools, bringing fresh water to children that were dying of disease because they were drinking out of a pond? That abundance comes from freedom, and then the freedom of choice to go, you know what, I'm going to help people. I'm not going to be told what to do with my abundance. Okay? So again, freedom is important. It allows you to share with others and lifts the limits and allows for excellence as opposed to mediocrity. Okay? This is why freedom is important. Now, everybody might say, well, you're saying this or that, or, your political belief is this. I don't care what your political belief is on this. Freedom is the common goal here, my friends. Freedom, whether you're left, right, red, blue, somewhere in between. And I think most people are somewhere in between. I think most people value freedom. Most people value honesty. Most people value family. Most people value their ability to make decisions for themselves. And we have gotten into a time where it's so far to one side or so far to the other that, if you're not all the way here, you're wrong. If you're not all the way here, you're wrong. Well, what about people that are really mostly somewhere closer to one or the other? When I grew up, politics were very similar. A little more handouts on one side, a little more business friendly on the other. Little. Now it's radical, okay? And I'm more towards, the free enterprise and everything else. You all know that, and I'm not afraid to say it. I got a right to say it. You got a right to believe what you want to believe. But freedom comes from the ability to be your best, do your best, give your best, not from being homogenized and just being like robotic and everybody's equal. Bullshit. Okay? You're equal in one thing. You're born, you come into this world with nothing, and you're equal that you should not be mistreated, harmed, or held back. Okay? I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in being hurtful. I don't believe in being hateful. I don't believe in forcing one religion upon somebody over another. Any of that stuff. What I do believe in is you have a clean slate when you come into this earth. You make your decisions. You own your damn decisions, and you are free to make your decisions and go forward. Now, if you're a child molester or something like that, you are not free to decide that. You should be... Okay? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is being free to make the choices financially, how you want to raise your family, who you want to pray to, how you want to live, what you want to drive, where you want to live, what you want to do for a living, what you want to do for business, and what comes out of your mouth. But let me tell you something. You own that too. Okay? Remember that. With that freedom comes responsibility. With freedom comes great responsibility. Write it down. Coach Lew says. Okay, seriously though, who's freedom for? You, me, everyone who chooses to be free. Those who are capable of making their own decisions. Okay, if you're totally whack job insane and you're going to go out and kill people, if you're just let them roam the streets, you probably need to be locked down. I'm not talking about that. Okay, but it's for those of us to be able to, that are capable of making our own decisions, but also owning your own decisions along with all the consequences, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay? If you make a decision, okay? Right. Well, Tommy, I can't say I disagree with you there, buddy. I can't say that. I can't say I disagree with you. There's a lot of twistedness going on to what used to be decency in a lot of aspects. But seriously, you've got to own those decisions and those consequences. If you make a decision and you F up, own it, fix it. It's yours. If you make a decision and you make millions, what you do with that is up to you. You don't have to give it away to a certain charity. You don't have to do a damn thing with it. Now, if you have huge abundance, people with a lot of abundance that are good at heart from when they started or didn't have the abundance will generally do things that make the world better. And handouts don't make it better. Hand-ups make the world better. But again, you're free to decide. You make $1 million, it's up to you how you use it, spend it, what you do with it. I would hope that you would put some of it back into what created you, okay? But remember this, freedom requires work, there's effort, accountability, you got to be accountable for your actions, and it requires taking a stand to protect it. You cannot just sit there and go, oh, I'm going to bitch on Facebook about what this politician did or what that person did. You got to stand up and go, enough is enough. And it isn't play the game like, you saw riots and cities burning and bottles being thrown. That is not taking a stand. Taking a stand is, all right, this company's going to partner with a Satanist that loves to, a satanic individual that thinks that child, stuff is okay. Don't go there. And we just saw it. Target partnered up with one of these people and people stopped going to Target, and guess what? They kicked him out and cut the ties and got all his shit out of there. Okay? Now, again, I'm not trying to encroach on anybody's freedom of speech, but if you're putting children in harm's way, you're worshiping the devil, I'm all about worship, call God however you want, and you're creator. The devil's not a creator, folks. And if you think he is, you need to go see your psychiatrist. You probably don't belong on this show, because if you worship the devil, I don't want you on this show. Okay? That's my right to speak that, and it's truth. I don't care what you call your God, your universe, whatever, as long as you go to a higher power that's about love and about creating peace and better. Hey, not for me to tell you how you call God. I know how I call God, and that's up to me. But that's up to you too. But devil worshipers, but you know what? The people spoke. We all cut off. I mean, it wasn't like bitch, 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 and then you see that same person bitching on Facebook, walking into Target, dumping money on them. That people actually, they took a sharp decline for doing a really stupid move. Now that was their choice to do that, and I still support their freedom. If you want to make that choice, that's great, but I'm not going to support it. That's how you make change. That's how you make change. And I'm not saying that one side or the other side of any of inclusion, disclusion, anything else, all these words. How about we just include humans? When it comes to serving people in your businesses or in your community or in your churches, we serve people. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter what race you are, what religion, who you go home with at the end of the day. As long as you don't want special treatment for any of that. Okay, I personally am a Christian. I don't walk in somewhere and go, I want special treatment because I'm a Christian. I want crosses on I don't want Target to use a red Target anymore. I want them to put crosses on the front of their building. That's not realistic to ask for that. Okay? That would be, everywhere's got to, say Christians welcome or a Christian friendly business. Okay? No, how about a human-friendly business? You walk into my business, I don't sit there and judge you and go, oh, you dress differently than I do, you pray differently than I do, you live a little differently than I do, you can't come in here. But I don't have to advertise that I'm a this, that, and an XYZ friendly business. I am a human being friendly business, as we all should be. As we all should be in our hearts, that a human being is a human being, whether they're the homeless drunk on the corner. Guess what? I'll still give that fool a bottle of water so he doesn't dehydrate and die on the corner, but I'm not giving him $1 to buy more wine, or whether you're a president or whether you're whatever. You're still a human being, okay? Whether we agree with each other or not, you got to agree back down to the one thing: we are all human. And the minute you start treating that is the standard. Okay, human being, you encounter a human being and they're not wacko or murderers or doing something totally psycho, treat them as a human being. Treat them with decency and common decency. Until you treat me nastily or until you come at me or force something on me, I don't care what you do. It's your life. It's your life. Hey, someday you're going to face your maker, however you call him. And however you lived, that's between you and them. Not for me to run around and judge you. But don't judge me. Make sense? Is that fair enough thing to say? If we all stopped judging each other and fighting against each other and said, what are some common grounds? What's the number one common ground in the United States of America that we need to protect? Freedom. Okay? Freedom for you to pray the way you want, talk the way you want, dress the way you want, eat what you want, live where you want, and have a relationship with who you want. Okay? I don't care. I'm pretty basic family, normal values, husband, wife, kids. Okay? Not everybody lives like that, and I'm not going to run around and say, I hate you because. Again, that's between you and your maker. When your time comes, you decide how you want to live. But my point is don't turn it around. When it comes to freedom, I will defend your freedom to live your life as you please. Do the same for me. Okay? That's what this show and that's what freedom is all about. Real freedom. Okay, so again, what I want to do is really honor those. This is the important thing that gave all, especially their lives, to protect our freedoms. And still continuing to protect our freedoms in these hellacious times and wars and this, that, and the other. Handouts and freebies, my friends, are not free. Okay? They're going to come out of your butt one way or the other. All those checks during COVID that everybody thought they were getting rich for sitting at home and, getting fat and putting on weight and everything. Guess what? You're paying for it now. And you knew you would. But it is what it is. It happened. It was a knee-jerk overreaction. People say, oh, you denied it existed. No, it was a virus that was pretty rough and got some people, and some people that had a lot of comorbidities. A few people did die. But a few people die from the flu. Many people die from cancer and heart disease, yet we don't see McDonald's being restricted. We don't see Monsanto being stopped from spraying the glycosulfates and everything else on your food that is proven to kill you in the long run. But yet we'll shut a country down over a virus with a 99% survival rate. But you might believe differently than I do. You may have lost somebody and gone, hey, if it wasn't for COVID, I'd still have my dad. I understand that. And I support your freedom to feel that way differently than I do. Okay? This is what this is all about, the freedom. Okay? And I hate to see anybody die to any disease. But we have a rampant amount of cancer going around, and it's getting worse. And it's not that it's contagious, folks. What it is it's some of the environmental things, and electric cars with putting batteries and burying batteries under our soil is not the answer either. Maybe solar is a much better answer in a lot of cases than most fuels. Why are we not focusing a little bit more on that? That would be a question. Why are we focusing on something that has such a residual negative effect and takes still fossil fuels to create the electricity to charge this and to make the batteries, and then you have the problem of disposing of this. And I'm not 100% against electric cars or anything else. They have their place. Gas-powered vehicles have their place. Everything has its place. The thing I'll give the government and manufacturers major kudos, being around the auto industry most of my life, they've made strides in the pollution controls on these cars. Just a decade or two ago, my God, cars were spewing garbage out those tailpipes. Now it's become much cleaner. Is it perfect? No. Is it ever going to be perfect? No. But it's better. But yet our food sources are getting depleted. Our food sources are being allowed to be more eradicated, messed with, and we turn a blind eye to this. Okay? This isn't meant to be a rant this morning. This is meant to be a wake-up call to your freedoms, guys. And I know some of you are going to go, oh, I don't agree with this, and I don't agree with that, and you know what? I could piss everybody off this morning in some respect. It's not what it's about, okay? It's about stop worrying about taking so many sides and start going, number one, human being. Number two, we're Americans. We live in this great country called America. Let's start acting like it. Number three, we're all brothers and sisters. Back at some point, there wasn't billions of people on this earth at one point. There were only a few, and it grew out and spread out. Okay? Think about it. You're kind of related to each other no matter what the color of your skin is, etc. Down the road, there's some point where it intersects almost probably with every single person on the face of this earth. Wow. Would you treat somebody differently if you were walking down the street and you realized, oh, that's my brother or sister that I haven't met yet? Well, technically they are, whether it's spiritually, whether it's, at some point. But think about looking at people a little differently. A lot of times people are hateful towards somebody, but I've got this friend. I don't like somebody because X, but I've got this friend who's X. And they're my friend, so it makes it different. Okay. Again, my point to this is if you really want to unite around your country, stop saying, I need special treatment because, or I don't like you because. If we remove those two things, you'd start to go, oh, everybody can just do their thing, live. Unless you're hurting somebody, it's not my business to put a stop to you. If you're hurting somebody, I'm coming for you. We're all coming for you. But do you understand the difference there? What if I have this friend who's X, but they're cool, but I don't like this guy or this girl because they're this. I have a friend who's an auctioneer, and he's a good guy. His name's Lou, but I don't like this other auctioneer, so auctioneers are bad, but I make an exception for my friend Lou. Do you hear the silliness of this, though? Do you hear the ridiculousness when I put it to you that simply? And you're starting to go, if you bothered to stay on the show this long and didn't get butt hurt and jump off, now you're starting to see the reason I'm doing this. I call things like they are. I use examples that have sharp edges. You know why? Because if you just sit there and Pollyanna and kiss ass around everybody and be afraid to say this, that, and the other, and, no, I don't want to offend somebody, and yeah, well, you're going to turn into a bunch of wimps. You got your right to your opinion. You got your right to say, I don't agree with that, and I don't like that, and I wouldn't live like that. That's okay. But you can't go smash the person around and beat them up because they live a different way you do or pray a different way you do. Okay, that's the difference. You have a right to go, I don't agree with that and I don't like it. Okay, that's fine. I'm totally on board with you. There's a lot I don't agree with and I don't like. There's a lot of stuff we see today that I'm going, cut out the dog and pony show and the circus already. Enough. Nobody's going to bother you until you start, everybody likes dogs for the most part. Nobody minds if people walk their dogs if they pick up the shit. But now if somebody takes the shit from their dog and shoves it in your face repeatedly, you're going to punch them. You're going to fight back. You're going to go, I don't like you. I don't like that. Okay? Is that a good enough example, folks, for those of you who want to, I'm special because, and you have to do this because, and everything? Bullshit. Okay? Excuse the language. No, you're a human being. I'm going to treat you well. I'm going to treat you any different depending on how you pray, live, this, that, and the other until you rub dog shit in somebody's face all the time, and then they're going to start to dislike you. If you treat people decent and you're a good human being and everybody goes, live and let live. Okay? That's what it's about. Freedom. You got the freedom to make your own choices, but you don't have the freedom to shove your choices on everybody else. No matter what it is. Okay? And that includes my Christian brothers and sisters out here who occasionally get a little too aggressive. We do it sometimes. Oh, we got to go save everybody. We got to, oh my God, you're sinning. You're doing that. That's part of life. Okay. The day there's no sin is, I think we're all done. We're all somewhere else. Okay. It's one thing to, take somebody you care about and say, hey, you might be headed in a direction that might be hazardous to you. If somebody starts to use heroin, you're not going to sit there and go, oh, it's just their choice. Yeah, who cares? You might do something to help them. Okay, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, if you decide to go use heroin, you shouldn't walk down the street and say, I want to jab everybody with a heroin needle because I have a right, and you need to make an area of your business where I can sit down and put heroin in my veins. No, if you're high on heroin and you're walking in with a needle, the police are taking you out of my business. I don't care who says what. I'm not providing a safe heroin zone for you. Okay? That stuff is ridiculousness. That's not freedom. Okay, that is not, your right to, smoke pot walking through the grocery store where there's children. I got a medical card. Okay, well, go home and do your medical. I don't care. 99% of y'all that have medical cards, we all know you don't need it. The 1% that does usually has a hard time getting a medical card. But that's not my thing to control for you if you use or do not use marijuana. You're sitting there smoking it with my child, sitting there, and I'm in a restaurant. Now we got a different scenario. You can go out back and smoke it. You don't have to smoke it around a child. You see the differences? Not for me to decide whether or not you do it, but definitely, again, having that common decency. How about the phone thing? We go out to eat the other night. This is a rant. This girl is sitting there on FaceTime with some guy just I don't want to hear your conversation. And friggin' believe it or not, she's talking about, somebody told me I should get these AirPods. Well, that'd be a good idea. Maybe you could talk a little softer and we didn't have to hear your FaceTime on speaker in the middle of a restaurant. So I'm like, I'm starting to boil. And then she goes, well, I guess I'm going to go. And she's shoving food in her mouth and food's falling on the table. Very entitled individual. You could just tell the way she treated the server and everything. She was a bitch. But, I'm like, all right, well, she does have the freedom to eat here. She does have the freedom to use her phone if necessary. It's not really, but it's ignorant. So she gets done. I figure, okay, well, she's done with her phone call. She flips on a podcast. And, and I thought, now that's ignorant. If I had music jamming at the table, heavy metal, Megadeth or something, I am sure, the owners of the restaurant would have come and said, hey, come on. That's annoying to other guests. I wouldn't do that. But that's my whole point is, common courtesy, common decency, treat each other decent, and take a minute to think about this. Okay, that's enough of the rant on that. That was definitely annoying. But, don't do that. Just don't do it. Have some common courtesy. So we honored our service people, again, for freedom. And that's really what I want to remind you today. Your service people, your first responders, honor them. Don't fight against them. They're here to serve you and protect you. Handouts, freebies, not free. Do the work, see the rewards. Good old American values and hard work. Now, it doesn't mean only one side of America's values. It means everybody's values. Values of you don't harm your neighbor, you don't steal, you work for a living, you use some common sense around children and don't influence them with bad stuff. Don't sell kids drugs. Encourage greatness and work hard. That's it. Other than that, how you want to do it, what business you want to be in and all that, and how you want to work, what you want to drive, what music you like to listen to, all good. That's your choice, and I will defend your freedom. So freedom is available to all. You just need to stand together and protect it. The key here is together. Okay, it doesn't mean we all agree and have the same exact beliefs and walk around like androgynous robots. No, it just simply means that no matter what your differences with somebody, even political differences, we got to team up and make sure we keep freedom to continue to do as we want, vote as we want, live as we want, eat as we want, raise our kids the way we want, live where we want. It's pretty simple. All right, again, we don't need to agree on everything. I will defend your right to disagree with me on subjects to the death if I have to. I will die to defend your right to disagree with me. Wow. Would you do the same for me? Hear that again. I will defend your right to disagree to me to my death if I have to protect your right, even if you disagree with me. Would you do the same with me? If you say yes, then you're truly free. We are free. We're free. We're a free nation. We're a free world. If you say no, I wouldn't offend you because you disagree with me, you're the one that's not free, not me. You're not hurting me. Just remember that. Have you used what we learned in the month of May? Okay, we're going to shift gears here a little bit. Okay, and I hope that, whether you were offended during certain parts of this show, whether you loved it, whether you said that made sense, I don't agree, coach, but it makes sense. If something in today's show made you have a better interaction with your family, your community, woke something up in you that you say, you know what? Freedom is important. It is important. I do need to be a little less judgmental. I do need to be a little, look at me, little less look at me, and look at my, you got to accommodate me. How about we just treat each other like good human beings? We wouldn't have to have everybody fighting. There are factions in this world that the more groups of people fight within a nation, they profit, they get control, they get to do things that are above the law because no one's looking. No one's holding some of these dirtballs accountable that are just criminal and evil, and nobody can put their finger on it because there's too much fight with each other. Are you a pawn, or are you a king or a queen? How do you feel about yourself? Are you just a pawn that gets, who cares if the pawn in the chess game gets taken? You're just a pawn. Or are you the king or the queen in your world? Are you important, or are you just a pawn? If you're important, you'll pay attention to this. If you're just a pawn, then you're like the sheep of the world, follow along and get slaughtered. I don't think that's you if you're watching this show. So think about that. Next time you think about the world and what we're doing, take a look and go, am I a pawn or am I a king or a queen? Good question, right? So in the month of May, we went through all this stuff about changing and stepping up and taking action. Did you do any of it? Okay. If you did, kudos. And I know there's a lot of people that did. If not, when is the time to go back and review the month, take some actions and take the steps? How about now? This way you can make June a super good month, the first month of real summer. June, let's make it the best. Go back and watch those. And even if you did some things and you go, hey, this is really cool, but I forgot a couple of things, oops, go back and redo it. Or pick another task or another project and redo the steps in the month of May to live the ultimate top life you can. And when you're doing that, you lead by example. Okay, you stop only focusing on you and you start having a greater impact on your community, your family, your world. When you're doing good and when you're not playing from the victim role and you're playing from a victor role and you're stepping up and things are going in the right direction, no matter how hard it is, there's going to be step backs and setbacks and you're going to get smacked once in a while. But think about it. When you step up, that ripple effect's out beyond you. So in closing today, ask yourself, what will be said at my memorial? And better yet, what will God, or how you call your Creator, say when you arrive at the gates of where you're going and where you believe you go? Is your Creator going to look and go, well done? Or are you going to be going, oh God, there's so much more I could have done. Oh God, I labor faked my way through life. What's it going to be? What are people going to say at your memorial if they really speak the truth? What is your memorial? Let me tell you something. You are writing your memorial right here and right now. The past cannot be changed, but can be learned from. What's important is what you're doing right now and into the future. That's what makes the difference. You are writing your memorial here and now going forward. Okay? How will you write the chapters from now until your final chapter? Make it count. Make it a masterpiece, my friends. Because we get one go round. Okay? I know somebody out there is going to say, but I believe in reincarnation. I wouldn't roll the dice on that, but there's, hey, I'm not one to say what's right or what's wrong. Okay? But my belief is, even if you get reincarnated, you don't know it because you'd remember your last life, and we don't. So that's a good indicator that might not be the case. How will you write the chapters from now until your final chapter, your final word, your final piece of punctuation on your book of you? Make it count, my friends. Make it a masterpiece. Live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams. This is Coach Lou. I'm going to sign off for the morning, guys. Be blessed. And remember our service men and women who have given their lives, given the best of what they had to protect your freedom. Whether you agree with everything or not, you know that there was somebody out there that did something for you that didn't even know you, maybe.
Ready to take it to the next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lou himself. As Coach Lou always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dream.